Welcome. This is Juan Vasquez with the Integration Broker Services team at the Department of Health in Florida. And today we're going to be talking about newborn screening modernization and the process for electronic testing orders and results using HL7 messages. But before we start, I'd like to share with you some information that we previously reviewed in other trainings. I want to remind you about tools and standards. At the Florida Department of Health, we use integration tools, transport methods, and standards, specifically HL7 messages. We also have other processes for orders and results, including flat file orders, web order system, manual specimen card orders, and fax/move-it resulting processes. But today we will talk about newborn screening modernization, the electronic testing orders and results process using HL7 messages. Specifically, the newborn screening modernization process, a hospital will send an HL7 message containing the order for the newborn screening. That process goes through IB services where it is validated and then sent to the Lab Information Management System, PerkinElmer, and the state lab. Once the newborn screening is conducted, the results are sent from the Lab Information Management System, state lab, to Integration Broker Services as an HL7 message, and then received by the hospital. I am now going to talk about the two types of validation. There's the online validation. With online validation, the hospital or sender/trading partner will have an opportunity to submit a file or an HL7 message to ensure that it is meeting the standard needed to send through the electronic testing order and result process to the Lab Information Management System to ensure that it is meeting the standard message required by the Lab Information Management System, PerkinElmer. Once the message is sent through Integration Broker Services, it then receives inline validation. So as you see here, the hospital will send an HL7 message through the Integration Broker Services, where it is checked for security. If it meets those standards, it is then checked for structure, elements, and content. At any of those times, if the message does not meet the standard or requirements, the message is either rejected and logged or discarded. But once that message receives all of those standards or meets those standards, the message is then sent on to the Lab Information Management System, PerkinElmer. Going back to the process, the hospital again will send the HL7 message through the Integration Broker Services, where it'll go through inline validation. If at any of those times where we talked about that the message does not meet the standards, there are alerts and notifications that are sent to the newborn screening program, but also there's a dashboard where trading partners or the newborn screening program can check on messages that are going through and to and from Integration Broker Services. So again, the hospital will send the HL7 order to the Lab Information Management System, PerkinElmer, and once the results are ready, the HL7 result will move through the Integration Broker Services to the hospital. And if there are any issues with the result being transported to the hospital, there will also be notifications and alerts to the hospital or to the state lab.
Thank you for taking the time to learn about HL7 and newborn screening at the Department of Health in Florida. We want to take this time to remind you that newborn screening modernization processes are currently under development and have not been implemented at this time. If you have any questions, please reach out to Radley Remo or Juan Vasquez.